I knew that was something I needed to have.
All right, like in Nicaragua, which is
You're all clearing a house of information.
None other than one of those very heroes. So, for those who don't know, I'd like for you to take a couple minutes. Are you originally from the Charleston area?
Hello world, and welcome back to Real Talk with ReZsaun, where nothing's off limits. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. I am your host, ReZsaun Lewis. Now, here on Real Talk with ReZsaun, everything's debatable. So on any given week, we can be discussing anything from sports to music to politics. You name it, we'll discuss it. Now, I am your host, ReZsaun Lewis. Thank y'all so much for joining me. We are back for another episode. As you guys know, this is Real Talk with ReZsaun. And I wanted to take this time to send a special shout out to my sponsors. If you have any custom design needs, make sure you go to www.science2see for all your custom design needs. Banners, card decals, cups, graduation banners, whatever it is that you need, go to www.science2see.com and make sure you use this month's promo code Buy Black. With that being said, Real Talk with ReZsaun has a goal of shining a light on the great things that are happening right here in the Low Country, and today is nothing different. Today I have a very special young lady coming on the show today. She's a young lady that I met a couple years back on this here show, and she goes by the name of Sydney Clinton. Thank you so much for joining me, ma'am. What's up? So let's go ahead and get right into it. So for those who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay, so my name is Sydney Clinton. I'm 18 years old. This past May, I just graduated from Fort Dorchester High School.
Yep.
Yes, go for it. I'm a rising freshman at the University of South Carolina. I'm extremely politically involved here in the Low Country and in South Carolina. I've done a lot of advocacy work, both at the state level and nationwide. I was the founder of the Charleston March for Our Lives chapter, and then went on to start the Low Country Students for Political Action. I've also been involved with the Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Policy and Research and Gifford's Courage to Fight Gun Violence. So gun violence is really kind of my main advocacy issue, but I'm super excited to be here. So yeah.
So listen, she already ran that down. Did y'all hear the thing she ran down? She's like, okay, Charleston March for Our Lives, check. Students Against Violence, check. Like, I mean, come on, Johns Hopkins, check. Like, come on, man. So listen, before we even get into all of the stuff that you do, where are you originally from? Are you originally from here?
So I was actually born in Honolulu, Hawaii, but I moved around a lot. My dad was in the Marine Corps, and he retired when I was 8. So I've been here for the last decade. So I claim Charleston to be my home.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, from Honolulu, Hawaii. So what age were you when you moved here?
I was 8 when I moved
8,
here.
word. Yeah. So if you're 18, you moved here when you're 8, we definitely, one, we have to take you because you've been here longer than you've been anywhere else. And 2, you actually do mad work in the community. So we gotta claim you. So when you make it to where you're going, you know, which is going to be a really, really high place. You're going to be one that we claim, like Sydney. So I'm going to tell you now, because people do this thing where they get really famous and then they forget about South Carolina. Shout out to Teddy Riley. And so make sure, you know, when you make it to Washington, D.C. and you're, you know, elite level lobbying and all that stuff, or whatever it is that your government, whatever it is that you're doing, don't you forget about us.
Listen, I've got Charleston, South Carolina tattooed on my arm. So I think we're good.
Okay, good. So what made you get involved? Let's start with the first thing you talked about. So the first endeavor you were in, was that March for Our Lives?
Yes.
Okay, so how'd you get involved in that?
So the week of the Parkland shooting, there were a couple things that happened at Fort. At the time, I was 16. I was a sophomore in high school. The day of the Parkland shooting, we obviously, you know, took the news pretty hard, trying to figure out, like, okay, we saw how this affected, like, this school in Parkland, Florida. Like, what happens when it's us? Over the next few days, we had a fire alarm go off during our lunch period, which never happened. So that was super scary. And then we also had threats on social media that someone was going to bring a firearm to the school.
Wow.
It was really that weekend that had me extremely stressed, just kind of feeling helpless. You know, like, I'm 16. What is there that I can actually do? I've had my license for 4 months and don't even drive on the highway at this point. Like, what is there that I can really do? And so just kind of brainstorming with my parents, they were like, okay, we could go up to DC. We could see if there's one in Columbia. And I wanted to see if there was anything going on here first. Obviously, gun violence was an issue that impacts our city and our area on a daily basis. And so I really wanted to see what was going on here. At the time, there wasn't anything. So I got with a friend from school and I was like, look, we've planned a pep rally. Why not, let's just make the leap and try to do something here in Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
So we started just a Gmail account and a Twitter account to really get the word out there. And it just kind of snowballed from there. It was absolutely insane. Within 2 weeks, we had a volunteer list of over 50 people willing to donate materials, help out with the planning. And it ended up being an incredible event. And to this day, it's the best day of my life. I made some of my closest friends doing that, many of which I am still super tight with. Jacob Gamble.
Shout out to Jacob.
Yep. So that's really how I got started. After that, the main 5 of us that had done the vast majority of the planning really wanted to continue working on advocacy here in Charleston and make some real change in South Carolina. We didn't want it to just be kind of a one and done thing. And so we started Low Country Students for Political Action that summer to really start lobbying and get, other youth involved on other issues that are impacted and impact gun violence. So since then, it's really snowballed and has morphed into what it is right now. So it's been a great experience for sure.
Yeah. So that's the funny thing. So I want to get into your students for political action, thing now is for sure. But the way that I remember seeing you the first time, it was actually, I had just scheduled you to come on the show. And because I was trying to get Jacob, because I knew I had been told about Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
And but Jacob couldn't make it. So he was like, well, Sydney is really the person that you want to talk to. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's get Sydney on the show. So Sydney is coming on and we're at the Cory Booker event when he was at Burke High School. Yeah. And they said, oh, we got to get Sydney on the stage. Get Sydney on stage. I'm like, Sydney? I'm like, I know that. Is that Sydney Clinton? And they're like, this high school young lady is about to go on the stage and advocate for Cory Booker. How did that happen?
So I'll be completely honest. I have no idea. I had been in touch with the South Carolina head for the Booker campaign just to get tickets. And we had been volunteering all morning. So Melissa Watson was like, come back in the back. He's talking. So we go back there. And then I don't know if it was just something that I'd missed and agreed to and just forgot. But Clay Middleton was like, all right, are you ready? And I was like, yeah, totally. And then next thing I know, I'm in the group to go be on stage. And I was like, I don't even have a question for him. I'm texting my friends, what am I supposed to ask him? I had no clue. So It was either me just having it go straight over my head, or I have no idea, but that was insane. To talk to Cory Booker, and he is extremely close friends with my hero. He's Brian Stevenson, founder of the Equal Justice Initiative. He is everything that I aspire to be. And he quoted Brian Stevenson. So I was on stage, my eyes bulging out of my head. I can't see anything because the lights on stage are just ridiculous. And I was like, this is crazy. I've done interviews and been on TV before, but that CNN town hall was unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. I think from that, I don't know if that's when the rest of the city started to realize what a powerhouse you were at such a young age. You were 16 then, right?
Yeah. I was still 16.
That's crazy. That's insane. So did you get to tell him that you're such a big fan of Brian Stevenson?
Yes. Yeah. We actually, after that town hall, we went up to Somerville it was a fundraiser with him and a number of other folks.
Oh, that was the oyster roast thing?
Yeah. So I actually got an opportunity to talk to him, and he actually made a video for Jacob because Jacob was up in Columbia, couldn't come down. And so Cory made just a like Hey Jacob video for him. And so I got to talk to him one-on-one for a bit. So that was super cool too.
And Jake was working on a campaign, right? Which campaign? He was working on the was he on the Beto campaign?
At that point, yeah, he was on the Beto campaign.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. Charleston, y'all are impressing me. I got to be honest, and it's one reason. Like, I work a lot with the youth. When I see people like you know, and Jacob, and you know, so many other kids come to my mind whose names I can't remember right now, of course. But you guys are politically active at such a young age and doing such great work at such a young age. It's just amazing to watch. So what is that like to have that kind of, does that, like, when you go back to school after like kicking it with presidential candidates, does that like, does it feel?
Yeah, it was super weird, especially like my sophomore and junior year, when I first started, like all these big things were happening for me. And not that I like didn't have friends, but I wasn't like super outgoing. I like had my small group of friends that I just kind of hung out with, and they were aware of the things that were going on. But for the most part, unless, you know, you were following me on social media, you really didn't have any idea what was going on and like what the things that I was doing, particularly teachers, you know, like they would be talking about these things, you know, kind of current event type issues. And I'd be like, yeah, like I was there. I was on stage for that. So it was kind of weird, like trying to balance the whole being a teenager. Like I'm in high school trying to get ready to apply for colleges and all of those things, while also like having such an influence and an impact on my community. And it was kind of hard trying to like keep high school like a priority for myself. Because there would be so many like events and things going on, especially during the day, that I'd be like, okay, like let me just skip class to go to this. It's like no, Sydney, you still have grades and
that's still important.
It was hard, like trying to keep those things balanced and in perspective. But I mean,
I remember I was looking at like you like took not prom because y'all didn't have prom, but you took like prom like pictures, and I kept thinking, I was like, she's already meeting presidential candidates. She hasn't been to prom yet. Like that's nuts to me. So okay, so what is the coolest moment you've had meeting like a big wig, quote unquote?
So it was last November. So I was a Giffords Courage Fellow last year. And so we had 2 fly-ins. The first one was for training back in August. So I got to meet the other fellows, a ton of folks on the Giffords staff. And if you guys don't know anything about Giffords, it's literally one of my favorite organizations out there. Their team is incredible. Every event I've ever done with them has been absolutely like insane. They do so much. And so in November, we were back in DC. We were going to do some lobbying for actually a violence intervention program bill that Cory Booker co-sponsored. And the last night we were there, Gabby Giffords actually had dinner with us. And so it was absolutely incredible to not only meet her, but to have dinner with us. And she sat at our table with myself and a group of friends that were all there. And we just chatted. She showed us like her RBG pop socket. You know, she told us all about the things she had been doing, and just being able to like be in that kind of social setting with not only like some of the most amazing youth activists that I know, but also with me, it was unreal. I mean, we went back up to our hotel room that night after dinner, and all of us were just kind of speechless. Like, not only just how incredible of an opportunity it was to be involved with Giffords as a fellow, but to be able to like really get to know somebody on that kind of level, both with activists and with Gabby. It was by far the greatest thing. And then actually flying home from one of the fly-ins, we were at the airport and we saw RBG get on like 25 feet from us. And so that was like kind of, since they're both with Giffords, like the 2 most amazing like experiences.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's high up there. So So I know, you know, you're about to head off to college. So you're going to the University of South Carolina. So what's your major?
Sociology.
Sociology.
Yep.
Funny you didn't go with political science. Why not political science?
You know, I contemplated it a lot. I think for me, though, the goal is law school and hopefully a master's in public policy. I'd love to be involved in nonprofits, do some pro bono work, and really make an impact with legislation. So I think for me, the sociology route was just a little more broad than political science. It'll really allow me to study like humans and human interactions and how they are impacted by where they are. And the first time I read like the description of a sociology bachelor's, I was like, wow, this is my like sweet spot. So
okay,
yeah,
well, that's good. So as long as you're happy, I always tell my daughter, as long as you're happy with what you're doing, I'm happy for you. But I love to hear that your track is to go to law school and then still end up in that realm. Do you see politics in your future?
100%. Yeah.
100%. What? All right. Everything goes perfectly. Where do you end up?
You know, it's hard to say. I have a couple different routes. I obviously want to practice law. I want to end up long-term back in Charleston. I've put so much work and effort into Charleston and into South Carolina that I feel like I would be doing this state and this city wrong by not coming back and really continuing to make positive change in this community. I think that Charleston is one of the best cities and has the potential to be one of the best cities in this country and in this world. And so I think that, you know, it deserves to have people who care about the city and want to make an impact. I would love to be in DC, if not for grad school, for a few years and work up on the Hill. Politics-wise, I don't know what capacity that I really want to be involved in, whether it's on somebody's staff or actually running for office myself. But ultimately, you know, between DC and here over the next few decades and being involved in policy and nonprofits and really anything that I can do.
Yeah, like at 18 though, to be so like you are, like that's I'm sorry, maybe y'all watching, y'all see, like I am sort of like it's just really awe-inspiring. And like, and I think my daughter's sort of the same way to me. Like when I talk to her, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna do that. And I'm like, but you're 18. And you like have your whole life, like you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna go out here, I'm just gonna go to med school, and then I'm gonna graduate. So like I love hearing young people like yourself. Speaking of young people, there's a lot going on in the world that's really being centered around young people. Any massive amount of change that has happened in our country, especially, has centered really around young people. So with this last round of protests and uprisings that have happened, it's centered a lot around the young people. What's been your reaction to what's been going on? Have you been involved in the protests? How have you felt about it?
So for starters, I think that the last few months have been unlike any other kind of set of Black Lives Matter protests. They're just, everyone that I'd been to, like, it just felt different. I have tried to go to almost everything, really as much as possible. I actually worked and had a protest at North Charleston City Hall. I live in North Charleston, so I really wanted to make sure that my efforts were focused towards North Charleston. So basically, we were out there from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in front of City Hall. Every hour on the hour, we did an 8-minute and 46-second die-in in honor of George Floyd. Throughout the day, the numbers just continued to grow. We were looking at the pictures like that night, and you could tell like it was just expanding exponentially. It was a great event, and I'm still working on some more things that we can do here in Charleston from Columbia as well. I think though, like, I wish that the youth in this country could really like understand the gravity of like how important we are. I feel like a lot of times we discount ourselves because we're just teenagers or we're just high schoolers or whatever it is. Like, we have so much pull and we have such an impact on how these elections turn out. And we can really significant change if we put our minds to it and allow ourselves to have a little bit of a longer like attention span. I know it's difficult. Things are constantly happening. We have so much going on in our lives, both in person, but also like mentally trying to figure out life and where we fit in the world and the things that we are passionate about. I think that's kind of been the biggest thing. And one of the things that I've heard a lot from my peers is like, yeah, I care about these things, but I don't know, like, number one, how I can be involved. But number two, like, how do I figure out what I want to be involved in?
Good question.
I think for me, like, I felt this draw to being involved in gun violence prevention, and it has completely morphed and changed and expanded into understanding all of the different facets of gun violence and how every single like social issue impacts it. And the more I learn and the more I am involved, just the more my passion grows. And so like my number one suggestion for anyone who's trying to get involved is to just think about the things that impact you on a daily like basis. And what is something that no matter what just really gets you, and like start researching it and figure out like the organizations in your community that, you know, are really doing that work. Because a lot of times, like, especially with this performative activism, we feel like we have to start an organization or we have to be at the forefront of these things in order to make a change. And there's so many groups that are doing such great work, and we can't continue to just divide like our efforts when we could come together and make some significant change.
Yes. You sound exactly like me. I say all the time, like, one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got from one of my mentors was when I wanted to start a mentoring program. And she said, there's lots of mentoring programs. Why would you start your own mentoring program? You could go work with somebody who's already doing the work and just add your ideas to what it is they're doing, and you better their product. And that's what we're able to do with Low Country Youth Services. So I definitely agree to what you just said as far as making sure that you identify what it is that you want to do, and then find those opportunities to work within a already existing structure. We don't always have to recreate the wheel. I think we struggle a lot more that way. That's really great. That's really, really great that you said that. Dang, that's really good. So there was a question in the thing, and I can't see the comments over here. So please make sure if you have any comments or questions or anything like that, please make sure you put them in the comment section. I just opened up it on my phone. So if you see me looking down, I'm making sure that I can see all y'all's comments or whatever that you have. First, Sydney, who, you know, as we stated, she's only 18 years old. She's already worked on presidential campaigns. She's already like, hold on, you have worked on presidential campaigns, correct?
No, I have hosted events with campaigns, but I never took an official position. I wanted to really keep that.
That's good. Okay. So, so that's why you never, because I know, was Jacob working on, Jacob was on the Beto campaign. What's my guy from Ashley Ridge's name? I'm President.
Amari President.
President. He's on the Biden campaign. And somebody else is on another campaign. But these kids are like, and I'm sorry when I say kids, I don't mean like little babies. But y'all are really doing it, man. Like, y'all are really doing it. And I love also what you said. That's the other thing I want to talk about. The thing that you said, that I wish that the youth knew their power. I wish that the youth knew their power. You guys, I tell my daughter all the time that you guys' generation is going to be the one to get it right. Like, I really believe that y'all are. I believe that y'all are the ones who are going to get it right. So keep fighting. All right. So we had a question from Carolyn E. Blake. Thank you so much for joining us. Carolyn E. Blake, she's going to be on Real Talk very soon. She said, this young lady is sharp and on point. Stay dedicated to your purpose. And then she asked, what do you for art? What do you do for fun?
So I love the beach. I absolutely love going to the beach, being at the beach all day. I've been quite a bit the past few weeks. Sullivan's Island, trying to keep my social distance. I really enjoy just hanging out with my family and friends. I know that's a super cliche thing to say, um, but I absolutely adore my parents. Never went through the I hate my parents teenage stage. They are seriously like my best friends, and as much as I've wanted to like get out of the house the past few months, it's honestly been really great to be able to spend time with them. I really enjoy reading when I do it. It kind of comes and goes, but
Mhm.
for the most part, I really enjoy staying home and not doing anything. I love watching TV. Like TV is my favorite thing to do. So
Wow.
yeah,
Okay. TV's good. What are you watching? What's your guilty pleasure?
it depends. I love murder mystery shows, so I just started rewatching The Killing, which is on Hulu.
Okay.
So good. I also love Vikings on the History Channel.
I love Vikings. Who's your
So,
favorite character?
Lagatha, 100%. She's awesome.
Lagatha. I'm a Ragnar Lothbrok guy.
Okay, Ragnar will 100% have my heart, but Lagatha is just like,
I love Lagatha. Shield Maiden. So how far are you all the way caught up?
no, I haven't seen what's been on TV
Okay.
most recently. So
All right, then I can't spoil it
that's
for you.
the only thing for me.
So you're like a couple seasons back then. Are you like a couple seasons back or
I'm half a season back.
Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still don't want to ruin it for you though.
Yeah.
But you get it though. The people who watch Vikings get the Viking stuff. Vikings is my show. Like I love that show. So you like murder mysteries, you like Vikings. What else?
Yes. Honestly, that's kind of all I watch. Well, I've recently watched Veep, which is absolutely hysterical. It's just so funny. It's like it's a sitcom, but it's about like the vice president and just how like kind of irrelevant like that position is.
Uh-huh.
It's on HBO. Definitely recommend it. It's like the episodes are like 30 minutes, so it's easy to watch. So funny. I just crack up the whole time I watch it. And it's funny because it's like it kind of humanizes like politics and politicians. Like they're human and they have no idea what they're doing 99% of the time. And they're screwing things up. Like from like the general public's view, it's very easy to think that they're like unstoppable and nothing can hurt or touch them. And it's like watching Veep is like, no, like 100% that they're making the same dumb jokes and doing the same dumb things that like you and I are doing on a daily basis.
Yes. Oh, we got some more questions. Okay, cool. All right. So Ebony Vincent, shout out to Ebony Vincent, College of Charleston grad, and just graduated with her MPA. So congratulations to Ebony. She says, what creative things can we do to keep the youth engaged and involved?
That's a great question. And that's honestly like something that a lot of people ask. I think the best way is to continue to like amplify youth voices and help them legitimize themselves to themselves. I think it's very easy to kind of use youth, especially on campaigns, as kind of just figureheads. But we have great ideas. We've got great things that we can provide to whether it's a campaign or a different organization, and really just helping to amplify their voices and make sure that they know that they truly are valued in this effort. I think it's the best way we're going to keep youth involved.
Yeah, I agree totally. Digga says, Daniel Laurie says, time with parents is best. It's always cool to spend time with parents. I'm glad to hear that you never went through I hate my parents phase.
Yeah.
That's how do your parents deal with you doing all this stuff? I didn't even ask that.
They love it, honestly. We have always had extremely open conversations growing up. And while they always voted, they were never really like super politically involved. And a lot of people think that I just kind of did it because of them. They are 100% my number one supporters in everything that I do. And I always have to drag them along to my like events and stuff. And it's so funny because in kind of like our stages of like education and like learning about like all of these different issues, it's like me, my dad, my mom. And so it's like I'm kind of at the forefront of this, but it's because they are like learning and like adapting and evolving with me. And so it's been really cool to like look back over the last few years and see how far we've all come as a family.
Yeah.
But I mean, they could not be more supportive of the things that I do.
Wow.
And they're also kind of blindsided half the time because I forget to tell them things like this. I forgot to tell them that I was doing this until like half an hour ago when I was like, yeah, I need my computer, like, because we were on a town hall for school. I was like, yeah, I need my computer to do the ReZsaun thing. And they were like, since when? I was like, oh, I mean,
Well, when your mom and dad watch, hopefully hopefully they'll get a chance to watch this and they'll realize that the entire community is behind you. I'm sure they've seen, you know, the work that you're doing, and they you know, smile in delight knowing, you know, as a parent, the greatest thing is to know that your child has a heart for the community and your child has a heart for giving back. It speaks to who we are as parents, and it makes us feel good about ourselves, even if we had no role in the way you do it. It's like we still feel like, hey, I didn't mess her up, which is awesome. And you'll understand that feeling when you have children of your own. The biggest fear is like that you ruin your children and they're terrible people and they're no good to the rest of the world. But you are definitely I don't want to say you're the exception because it makes it sound like everybody else is so terrible, but you're exceptional. I'll say that.
really
You are but I mean that. When I say that people like you give me hope for the future. People like you, people like my daughters, people like my son, people like the young men that I see in the Distinguished Gentlemen's Club, people like Amari President, people like Jacob Gamble, people like Marquell Grant, who's up at Clemson. Just so many young people, younger than 20 years old, doing so many great things, and we cannot overstate your importance. And I want to thank you, and I want to encourage you in the future, whatever it is that you're doing, if there's a way I can support it, please let me know. And ReZsaun has got your back. I promise.
Well, I really appreciate that. I know, like, especially within kind of the activist community, it's very easy to feel like our work goes unnoticed. And a lot of the background, like behind the scenes stuff that we do it's not glamorous. It's making phone calls and emailing folks, and it's hard work. And I think that a lot of the times we just kind of feel like we're just in a funk. You know, these issues that we're working on they're not easy, quick changes. And so it's nice to like get feedback and be appreciated by, especially your community. I mean,
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, we all here support you. If you don't know who Sydney Clinton is, hopefully y'all got an opportunity to watch and find out who this young lady is. She may be your president one day. She may. I'm hoping that you continue on the track that you're going. I know with a lot of young people, life happens. You know, we all have dreams coming up, and then life happens. So, you know, maybe you don't see things through as you originally planned, but I'm hoping that you see it through because you have, I just see so much for you. I see so much for you. And I know your parents see it, and I know the people in the community see it because I've seen them when they interact with you. Do you have any parting thoughts as we close?
Only that I hope that, you know, the community continues to do the best that they can dealing with COVID-19. Obviously, it's been a tough few months, but I know, like, if we continue to stick it out, things will get better eventually. I want to wish all of my rising freshmen a good luck. I know I'm very excited, so I'm sure I can speak for everyone when, you know, we talk about this upcoming fall semester. And obviously, it will be different. You know, football will be different. And really the entire experience. This is something that none of us have experienced and ever gone through before. So just keep it up. And of course, if anyone needs anything, I'm always here. My social media is Sydney G. Clinton. I'm on Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. It's all the same. I'm a unified brand. So feel free to reach out. I'm always down to talk or help out, amplify stories or efforts. So that's about it.
Word. And you said they can find you at Sydney G. Clinton on anything.
Anything.
All right, cool. Now, I want to go ahead and put this precursor out there. She is 18, but don't be a creep because that's bad.
Yeah.
Got to make sure you say that to people these days. Why do I have to say that to people these? Anyway, that's another issue for another day. Oh, I want to ask you one more question because you are going to USC, and this year USC will not be playing Clemson for the first time in 108 years or something like that. How do you feel about that, knowing that you're not going to get that game?
It's weird. So full disclosure, I'd never, ever, ever intended on staying in state, let alone going to Carolina. I am a born and raised diehard Alabama fan.
Wow.
Yeah. So bleed crimson. It's actually super weird that the only saving grace is number one, like it's SEC still. So, and we're not the best. Carolina isn't the best. So I can still pull for my Bama boys on Saturdays and not feel that bad. And we won't play each other again for the next like 10 years because we played each other this year. But I actually just got like all my beat, like UGA, beat Tennessee, beat Clemson shirts in today. Mm-hmm. So it is super sad that like I won't get to experience that as a student. I love sports and love football. So since I decided to go to Carolina, I've been looking forward to football season, football in the South, SEC. So it'll definitely be an adjustment, and having to like rewatch old games just to, feel like it's football season again.
Yeah,
but there's certainly like worse things to have to.
Absolutely. But you're getting on campus. You're going to have the opportunity to get the college experience, which is great. I do want to, tell you, I know you're going to be safe because you're a very, high-minded young lady to be only 18 years old. Be safe. Please protect yourself. Watch out for weirdos. Watch out for creeps. There's, some bad stuff's happened, around that campus, in the last year or so that we never want to hear happen to Sydney Clinton. We need you. We need you. So thank you for being who you are. Thank you for coming on the show. Please come back and like check in. Let me know how you're doing. I appreciated getting the graduation card. Like to be on that list was pretty dope for me. So I felt like a celebrity too because you reached out to me. It's like, hey, what's your mailing address? I'm like, she thought of me. Anyway, I'm gonna end the show because I'm gonna get all touchy and stuff. All right. Thank y'all, man. Thank you to Sydney for coming on this week. Please continue to follow this young lady. I don't know. I don't know, your religious background, but please pray for this young lady as she goes off to college because she's gonna need our support. Anything we can do, put a comment in the comment section, just not for me, but so she can feel the love from the community for the work that she's doing. At 18 years old, she's making such a tremendous impact. And I want to give people like her all the encouragement that they can possibly get so they can know that we are here. You are not alone. We are fighting with you. We are supporting you. We love you. We appreciate you. We love the work that you're doing. And we want a million other kids just like you to decide at 16 years old that they've got to do more. They've got to do more. So thank you, Sydney, for being an example. Thank you for being an example. Yeah. Now, don't cry and stuff because we don't do that here in the show. I want to thank everybody so much for watching this week. Remember that Real Talk with ReZsaun's Local Celebrity Spotlight shines every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. where I interview my local celebrities. Next week's show will focus on who's on next week? Debbie Jones from the Social Emotional Learning group. I can't remember the name of the whole, but it's Carolina Social Emotional Learning Group. Talking about how are we impacting our young people through social emotional learning. It's going to be really, really interesting. She also have a few of her leadership team members coming on with her. I don't have all the names yet. That's why I'm not going to give them to you. But tune in. You want to see that. If you are doing something in the community that you'd like a light shined on, please reach out to me on my website. That's www.realtalkwithreZsaun so that we can discuss getting you on the show. This and all my shows, in addition to the Card Chronicle series, is now available for your listening pleasure via Apple, Google, Spotify, and any place you can find podcasts. You can also find it on my website. You guessed it, www.realtalkwithreZsaun.com. If you'd like to be made aware of when I go live, because sometimes it is unscheduled, please be sure to click the follow or subscribe tab on my page and turn on your notifications. Turn on your notifications so that you'll know when something new is posted to the page. In the meantime, follow me on social media to stay up to date on what's happening with Real Talk with ReZsaun. Anywhere you go, Real Talk ReZsaun. That's me. Only one. I've Googled it. I promise you. There's not more than one. It's me. Follow me, especially on YouTube, because I need more YouTube followers. Feel free to leave comments, questions, or whatever else you'd like to say in the comment section or the message section. I love reading your messages and getting your feedback, even if it's negative. If you love the show, which I hope you do, please leave a 5-star rating on my podcast or leave me a review on my Facebook and YouTube channel. I am also currently accepting speaking engagements and event hosting opportunities. If you'd like me to host or speak at your event, even if it's on Zoom, you can request me via my website, www.realtalkrezsaun.com. In closing, thanks again to Sydney for coming on. Thank you for watching, and always remember that God is everything, and without him, we are nothing. So never forget where your help comes from. Thank y'all for watching, and peace.